ASU sports fans, welcome to RamZone. Watch your favorite coaches and players talk about the games, the plays, and the moments that define your favorite ASU teams. Now your host, Cameron Allen.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's episode of RamZone. This week we've got the men's and women's head track coach, Coach Tom Dibbern. He's a Angelo State alumni. He was assistant coach here, now he's head coach. Coach, let's go ahead and get started. Start from back where you grew up running, how you ended up here, and what got you to stick around and coach now.
Okay, well, I grew up in Albany, Texas, a little bit east of Abilene, about 30 miles east, a little bitty 2A school. Just had a lot of success with football the last couple of years, a couple state championships, and then came here last second. I guess school was almost started, and I decided to come here and chatted with Coach Reed when he was the jump coach, and he let me come out and jump for him. So that kind of started everything. And then I guess when the assistant position opened up in 2005, then I was fortunate enough that he hired me back. So that was kind of the road to get here, and then just kind of been here off and on since.
So 2016, that was your first year as head coach, if I'm correct?
2017.
17.
Yes. I was head coach at A&M Commerce for 2 years before that.
Oh, okay.
And then I came back and associate head coach in 2016, and then took on Coach Reed's spot when he went to athletic director.
So you said you were a jumper whenever you were in high school and college. Coach Reed was your jumping coach. Were you a long jumper, high jumper, triple jump?
Here at Angelo, primarily triple jump. I didn't really even triple jump in high school, so he kind of taught me from scratch. And then I moved into decathlon when I got older. But I'd say primarily a triple jumper on his team.
Yes, sir. And I didn't look into how you placed every year, any accolades. What were some of the accolades you got while you were running or just jumping here?
I wasn't very good. I got third place at the conference meet in triple jump my freshman year, and that was as good as I ever did.
And your triple jumping days, I think you've coached it well. You have Allie Vaughn. I think she won triple jump this last meet. How do you think Coach Reed has helped affect your triple jumping and other jumping coaching style with your athletes now?
Well, the thing that Coach Reed probably instilled in me the most from observing him as my coach and as my boss was just working hard. I mean, those kids are out there every day putting a lot out there, putting a lot of effort out there to represent Angelo State, and I just feel like it's always our responsibility to give at least that much or more, and do our part to put as much effort in as they are.
And so triple jumping might be your specialty, maybe you'd say, on coaching?
I wouldn't say I have a specialty, honestly. I do it all.
Dude.
Just kind of depends on the year.
And you were saying beforehand you only have 2 other assistant coaches that help with coaching other events, whatever their specialty may be. Mm-hmm. What's it like having that small of a coaching staff with a team that big? You're the men's and women's track coach.
Well, I mean, it's like most schools our size. You got to be adaptable, and you got to be able to set a good schedule. And if you've got good kids that do their part as far as inserting themselves into the routine, then it's not that much difficulty on the coaching staff. You just got to have a good set of kids that are going to respect the routine and stick to it.
And routine is really big for student athletes, especially. What are some struggles or strengths you have trying to balance the academic and athletic life of these student athletes?
I don't think we really have too many challenges. We have a great academic center for our athletes, headed up by Joelle Matthews. She's got a staff that provides tutoring and we get our priority registration and all that stuff that aids our athletes, gives them all the tools they need to be successful if they do their part. So, in my mind, athletics really enhances the academic experience because you've got a few more levels of accountability and, you got a few more tools that are allowed that normal students don't necessarily get.
Absolutely. And you just talked about the strengths of the academic department for athletes. Mm-hmm. What are some other unique strengths and aspects that you've seen here compared to maybe your days at A&M Commerce?
Well, I think the stability in our leadership from the academics, the whole school, but in the athletic department specifically, I think the stability of the leadership is key. I think you know what you're going to get every day when you come to work here, and that goes a long ways in your confidence in what you're doing and knowing what you're doing from a day to day. And I think probably within the athletic department, another plus that we have here that a lot of schools probably don't have is cooperation among all the coaches.
Yep.
I think there's a really, really high level of support for the other coaches of other sports for us, and then we like to think that we support those other sports just as well.
I've heard from other coaches. I asked them this question as well. How this is a smaller school, y'all all have offices in the same building. Do you ever have maybe collaboration with other coaches? I know you're the men's and women's track coach, so there's not another coach that you, besides your assistants, you talk to. But do you collaborate with coaches of other sports to kind of help build a winning organization?
Not so much. Where we take stuff is from our general athletic department, from their guidelines. We have 3 pillars for success that our athletic departments build on. Number 1, academics. Number 2, athletic success. And number 3, community service. We adopt those same concepts within our program. And for us, it's about plugging in good, hardworking kids. And I think I've seen enough good coaches in my career and how they do things that I've adopted the stuff from what they do that I like. And if we plug it in the right type of kids, we're going to be successful.
And your athletes, you say you got a good group with you, which I've seen it. I got to go to the David Nobles this weekend. I hang around some of them. But I was wondering, track is kind of an individual sport to a degree, besides relays, and you get team points. Do you have maybe a routine or try to build chemistry throughout the entire team to help set up the year?
Well, first off, we don't push it as an individual sport. Yeah. We push it, and this is a big thing that I got from Coach Reed, who got it from Coach Noble. We're gonna, as long as I'm head coach, we're gonna push track and field as a team sport. And it's a team sport that's made up of individuals that all need to do their own job. And so, as far as your question about team building activities and everything, we don't do anything outside of the routine because these kids are with each other 4 hours a day from August until May. So if we just stick to the script, they're going to be around each other enough, and they're going to build the relationships that they're going to build, whether we're doing extra activities and things like that.
Sir, and your athletes, they some of them live together, and that helps with team chemistry. And you're talking about really pushing the team aspect of it. This week, I believe, women's team won their track meet at the David Nobles with 212 points. I think second place was around 85. And the men's team got second place by about 7-point difference from first place. I think it was South Plains who won. How was that this weekend? You're pushing a month from the conference track meet. How's it feel you're making this push at the end where you're winning, getting top threes as a team?
We usually think that last week at Texas Relays, that's when track season is really kind of kicking up to the championship season. And we usually use David Noble Relays to measure where we are as a team. And if we can win the David Noble Relays, then we feel like we're starting to hit our stride. We're starting to do things that we need to do and where we need to be. What we saw with the men is right now we're really beat up, and we've got a lot of kids that are very, very, very important to our team that are not competing right now. But what we saw this week was we saw a lot of those kids that we weren't expecting much out of, maybe because they're younger, maybe because they're in new events or whatever, kind of step up and be really competitive. And to be honest with you, we really didn't have any business finishing higher than third or fourth this week. And we had those other guys step up. We almost won the thing. And so we saw a lot from the guys, even though we didn't win it. And then the girls, it kind of spoke for itself. We won by over 100 points. And it was a competitive meet. There was top 5 teams from Division I, Division II, Division III, and junior college. So the girls are kind of where they need to be right now, I think.
Yeah, they're looking really good. And I know you were assistant coach for the 2010 national championship team, and it was the women's team that won that year. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Do you see any similarities from when you helped coach that team to coaching this women's team this year, or maybe some differences that set them apart?
Well, the similarities are that we have a lot of girls on this team, like that 2010 team, that can do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
We had 3 girls very similar to Mauricia on that team that could not only score in the heptathlon, but score in about 6 to 8 other individual events and stuff. And so those are the similarities. I don't know if we're there. I wouldn't compare us to that 2010 team yet, but the similarities are there in that we have a lot of girls that can do a lot of stuff.
And you were talking about Mauricia Spence. That's how you say her first name, correct?
Correct.
She won the heptathlon this week, but you also had 4 others in the top 8, or 3 others in top 8.
Correct, yeah.
And one who finished just outside, but there was a problem with the 800. How do you get more points for a heptathlon compared to other events? I know since they do 6 events, I believe.
They do 7.
7.
So they do 7 over 2 days, but no, it counts just the same. It's a lot of work for the same amount of points is what it is. And so, where those heptathletes are really, really a plus for us is that as we train for the heptathlon, they get good in those individual events. Yeah. So, for example, Mauricia, she's number 1 in the country in the heptathlon, but through that training, she's kind of developed her long jump. So she's number 2 in the country in the long jump. She's number 3 in the country in the hurdles, and she's number 4 in the country in the 4x1. So that heptathlon training kind of helps everything. It helps her to be good in a lot of stuff.
That does help a lot, especially if you need to do some moving around due to injuries and other adversities. But we're talking about her rankings. Women's team as a team is number 4 in the country. There is one in conference at number 2, West Texas A&M. When is the next track meet you may have with them to kind of see how y'all's teams will fare up points-wise?
We'll probably run into them at Texas A&M in 2 weeks.
Okay.
So I'm not going to say we're a favorite over them. They've got more depth than we do right now. So if we're going to beat them, we've got to have those girls like Mauricia and Anna score a lot of points. They're going to have to do a lot of stuff because from a numbers standpoint, they got us right now.
Yes, sir. And we're talking about your athletes. I was wondering, the recruitment. You recruit all over the world, and you recruit in Texas, around the U.S. What's maybe the recruiting like whenever you're getting guys and girls from other countries?
Oh, it's not that different from recruiting Texas kids. Our international kids fit in really well with our team. So for us, we build our recruiting base from Texas high school kids within about 3 or 4 hours away, and that's the vast majority of our team. And the international kids that we plug in, they fit right in with those kids. I can't think of any instance where being from a different country affected how those kids meshed with our team.
Do you ever travel for that recruiting process, or is it more of like an online looking at maybe film of their running and jumping? Or
well, I mean, track's track. You don't really have to watch film. Yeah. If you can verify their marks, then you know what they've done, and they've got those world lists and stuff that you can check. Mainly through the recruiting process, what we're looking for with those international kids is, in visiting with them, do we think they'll be a good fit for our program? Do we think that they're a team type of player, or they're a person that's going to be about themselves, and if they're a team type of person, then we pursue them.
And in that recruiting process, you definitely see what they run before college. Do you have specific events that you think that you really push for when recruiting, or any event as long as they're top in what they're doing?
For us, it varies year to year. I mean, your needs in the recruiting process change, and they change every year. So for us, we've got an idea of where we make our hay, meaning what our best events are, and for us, it's based around the multi-events, because those multi-events kid can do a lot of stuff. So in high school, you're looking for jumper hurdler type kids, or you're looking for, kids that can play a lot of sports and do it well. Like, you got a kid that's got a good arm in baseball that can run, then there's a kid that may be able to throw the jab for you, and that type of stuff. But when we're looking for kids in general, it's kids that can do a lot of stuff. And then when we're looking for specific events like the sprints or whatever, we're looking for kids that can help that relay, because the relay is always the easiest way to get kids to the national meet. So we build everything around the relays and the sprints, and it's pretty much the technical events everywhere else. So even in the distance running, we're looking for kids that can jump. So maybe we can put them in the steeple, and that's something that we can work on and get better. And those are the kids that see the results faster.
And the recruiting process, you're looking at all that and you're mostly trying to sell them to come here. Your recruiting process, do you ever use back when you were in college? Does that ever help you with recruiting players here?
I think what helps us is that I know San Angelo. I've been in San Angelo for over 20 years. Yeah, I've been associated with Angelo State for over 20 years. So I can sell Angelo State, and I can sell the good stuff about Angelo State. I mean, really, it's not me. Angelo State sells itself. So it's just the familiarity with the area and the familiarity with the school makes my job a lot easier.
And let's see. The David Noble relays were this last weekend. We talked about the team points. Do you know maybe some athletes that stood out to you this week? You said you had adversity with the men's team, maybe some health issues. You were still able to get second. Who are maybe some athletes on both sides that really stood out to you this last week and maybe the whole year?
Well, with this week specifically, we had a lot of kids. We had 20 kids that hit provisional marks for the national meet. So a lot of stuff clear across the board. The one that stood out was certainly Mauricia Spence. She was the National Athlete of the Week for all of Division II, and so she would certainly be one that stood out. Fatu Cabo is our hurdler sprinter for us. That she did a lot of good stuff in four different events and everything. That entire heptathlon squad for the girls did well. Kobe Jones hit a good mark in the pole vault, beat one of the guys in the conference that's a big rival of his that gets the best of him probably more than he does. So it was a good thing for him to beat him. And then the quarter mile group on the men, all four of them ran 47 seconds in the open, and they ran 3:08 in the mile relay, which had put them number 2 in the country. So we had a lot of good stuff. I mean, I'm leaving a lot of people out, but the girls' sprint relay broke the national record, broke the school record. It stood here for a while, so they had a good go at it, and a lot of good things happened.
And these athletes you talked about, you have some great athletes now. You've coached some great athletes in the past. I know sometimes these guys move on from D2 to D1. Who are some of the guys you've coached, girls you've coached that have moved on to bigger schools, and do you ever keep in touch with them?
Well, yeah, we always leave on good terms. Yeah. I'll answer it because you asked me, but I'm more concerned with the kids that we got here that stay here. But most recently Osama El Bachabe, he was number 1 800 runner in the world, and he's moved on to Alabama. And I mean, we've had Dacio Andrade won the ACC championship last year in the hammer, and he was top 3 at Miami after he got his undergrad here. And these kids they're leaving here graduating from Angelo State.
Yeah.
So it's a good situation when they leave us, and we cheer for them, but we love the ones that are still here.
You got to keep an eye on the ones that you still got here coaching.
Yeah.
And some events at the college level, they don't have them in high school, such as javelin. I've never seen a steeplechase in high school either. What are some struggles with high school kids you get trying to get them into, you look at them for another event that they've never done before? What are some struggles there?
And it's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
There's no bad habits. So I would rather teach a javelin thrower from scratch how to throw the jav than there's a lot of ways to teach an event, and I want them to do the things I want them to do. So it's really kind of a blessing in those events that we don't have.
Yes, sir. And what are some events that you've seen over the years, like you may watch at the Olympic level? What are your favorite events to keep an eye on whenever you're watching?
I don't watch track, to be honest.
Don't watch.
I know what's going on with Angelo State, and that's about it. But I would say probably if I had to pick, heptathlon. Probably heptathlon's one I like to follow. Decathlon I like to watch, and I guess your glamour events that everybody likes to watch, the 100 and that type of stuff. But I don't know really.
Listen, and you've been here, Angelo State, for 20 years as a player, coach, and what else you might have done. What's kept you in San Angelo for so long? I know you like the area, but what are maybe some specifics that's kept you?
I just like West Texas.
Yeah.
I like the slow pace of life. I like the people, and that's enough of a draw for me. Just familiarity with the area, I like that.
And track is a long season. You have indoors earlier, then you move to outdoors. What's it like? Just you're on the road almost every weekend. Is it any struggles, or maybe you just like being on the road?
I mean, the older you get, the less fun traveling is, but it's part of the job. And I mean, we like a track meet wherever we are. We love hosting because our kids do really good at home, but if we're going to go to College Station in a couple of weeks, we'll enjoy going there too. So it really doesn't matter.
And sometimes we want to get to know you more past your coaching and whatnot. What are maybe some things you get into in your free time?
Oh, I like to hunt and fish, and ain't a whole lot more that I do outside of that.
Can't catch you out on a golf course very much.
I'll be out there, but I won't be swinging the club too much.
You going to be
I'll be
watching?
driving the golf cart for him.
You driving the golf cart? You going to be watching the Masters this week at all?
Maybe.
Are y'all going to be traveling this week? I don't.
Yeah, we'll go to McMurray this week.
Yeah, they have the McMurray Warhawk track meet.
Yeah.
Because I love going to track meets. I've been the Abilene one the last 2 years. Y'all go to Abilene Christian, I believe. Y'all have that track meet. I've been the last 3 years since I got here. I watched the David Nobles, but those other ones get pretty far away outside of this drive.
Yeah.
Whenever you recruit, do you ever go out recruiting, watching high school track meets, or it's more just looking at their provisionals and recent track meets?
The struggle we have is high school track season's the same season as our season, so we really don't get to recruit a whole lot. We host a spring break meet, and we have a lot of kids that come from 1A all the way to 6A to that meet that we get a chance to watch, and then outside of that, the state meets where we do the majority of our recruiting. And with the internet and everything the way it is now, you almost have to be looking for next year when you go to the state meet anymore, and everything, where you used to be able to get a big bunch of kids the year of. You're kind of looking ahead now.
And in high school track, were you ever a state qualifier? Did you ever compete at the state level?
I did, yeah, in the high jump.
And how many years did you make it? Every year?
3 years.
3 years, sophomore through senior? And your freshman year, about how close were you, would you say?
I don't ever remember my freshman year, honestly. I don't even know if I high jumped. I just vaguely remember I was there for 3 years.
Sure. And you said you grew up in Albany.
Correct.
Did you grow up playing any other sports? Or were you just a track athlete?
I played everything.
Played everything. Yeah. That's usually what happens at the 2A, though. Mm-hmm. I played everything but baseball. Might be the only reason my elbow's intact.
Yeah.
But what was your favorite sport growing up outside of track?
Track wasn't my favorite. Oh. Track's my favorite now, but football was my favorite.
And do you watch any NFL college football?
I like college football, but I watch it all.
Watch it all.
Yeah.
Big Cowboys guy? No, not a Dallas Cowboys guy.
No, I'm a Chiefs fan, and I have been since they were terrible. So I'm not a bandwagon guy.
I grew up liking the Cowboys. Got to be stuck with them from now on.
Yeah.
But collegiate level, who's your, I guess, outside of watching Angelo State, which I'm sure you do, who's maybe a D1 school that you like to keep an eye on?
Oh, I don't know. I just like to watch the game.
Just love to watch it.
I don't really have a team that I like.
And do you watch men's basketball as well?
Sometimes.
Did you make a March Madness bracket this year?
Well, I got to always pick KU because that's where my stepdad went. So outside of them, I didn't fill out much of the bracket.
Oh, my bracket got pretty rough as soon as first round was over. Not very good. Yeah. Did you watch any of the women's basketball this year?
I saw the end of that, but the UConn and Iowa game. I saw the very end of that one.
Yeah, that was I heard this was the first year they had more people watching the women's final than the men's. I thought that was really nice.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Just an interesting set. But, Coach, you said you like to hunt and fish. When's the last time you were able to do that since you've been in track season?
Oh, I do it every year. So
yeah.
Guess I got to fish last in December.
December? Yeah. Where did you travel anywhere?
I was up at my grandpa's farm up in Kansas.
Oh, up in Kansas. Mm-hmm. I bet that's pretty nice fish. They probably have more fish up there than we do here in San Angelo.
I don't know. I mean,
I have pretty bad.
There's good places to fish around here if you know the place.
I have pretty bad luck in my places, but last time we went out to Nasworthy, caught some white bass that were keepers. Mm-hmm. But that's about the best luck we've had out here.
Yeah. Gotta go out to Ivy or Twin Buttes sometime.
Is Ivy? That's about 45 minutes away, maybe. That's where they've been getting some national recognition in the bass fishing. Do you go out there much?
No, I don't. I don't make it out there hardly ever.
But Coach, you've been coaching here, head coach, since 2016, and you're assistant coach here. Do you think when you finally retire, I don't know how much further that is away for you, but do you think you'll stick around San Angelo once you're retired?
I don't think I will. No, I think I'll go back up north to our farm up in Kansas.
Yes, sir. I bet that's a lot cool. Does it get cooler there than it does here?
It gets cold in the winter, but it's not that much different than around here.
Yeah, I wish it was a little cooler. Heard Monday's going to get up to 97.
Yeah, it's going to be warm. It's good track weather.
You'll have fun at practice. I'll have fun inside my house. Yeah. But last time you went hunting, where'd you travel off to? Or I know we have public land around these areas.
Around San Saba.
Oh, San Saba down there. I've only been there once, I believe, played a football game, but haven't been down there for hunting or anything.
And you play football in the graveyard down there.
Oh, it's pretty.
You never heard any of those stories?
I probably don't want to. But
it's an old. I think there's a lot of mystique to that field out there. There's a lot of instances where people were broken open for 40 yards out, hit everybody and just dropped the football, and it cost them district championships and stuff. There's a lot of stories to that field. It's pretty neat, really. It's
an interesting field. But what's your favorite? I know we kind of got off topic a bit there, just learn more about you. But I want to know what's maybe your favorite track meet y'all go to, like a regular one y'all have every year, outside the David Nobles.
That's the favorite one. There's not even one close to it.
Not one close to it? What's the furthest y'all usually travel for tournaments? I know Nationals has been up pretty far north. I believe.
Yeah, we've had to go to Michigan, up there before, and we've been all around. Probably the furthest we've had to go to a regular season meet was Boston.
Oh, that's a pretty interesting area. I bet that was
It's a little different.
different.
Yeah.
But, Coach, we're at the end of our episode.
Okay.
We've got about, I would say 24 seconds is what they're telling me.
Okay.
But y'all are going to be at McMurray, not too far. McMurray's close to Abilene, I believe.
Abilene, yeah.
It's in Abilene.
Mm-hmm.
But, guys, go out to Abilene if you're in the area. Watch the McMurray track meet. The Angelo State Rams and Rambells will be competing. Number 4 ranked women's team, and I'm pretty sure that men's team's getting pretty close to ranked. I haven't.
15th.
They're 15th.
Mm-hmm.
And go out there, watch them compete. And their Lone Star Conference tournament is being held in
San Angelo.
Oh, I forgot about that. Hosting the Lone Star Conference tournament May 7th.
May 9th, 10th, and 11th.
May 9th, 10th, and 11th. Go out there and make sure to watch your Rams and Rambells at their Lone Star Conference track meet.
Yeah.